Hey there everybody, so I've made this model back like in 2017 and I decided to rebuild it totally in Lego bricks because I had, well, some wood casing and whatnot used in it, and I didn't have all the Lego parts for it. So now that I found all the parts, and I decided, well, you know what, let's make this. So here we go. Here is the Lego Flux Capacitor from Back to the Future. And it's a really special flux capacitor, which I'll show you as we move along. So without further ado, let's take a trip into the future and check out that flux capacitor. And here is my happy little flux capacitor that I built, because it was in a wood box like I said before. So now it is totally encased in Lego, and it's pretty big. It's like this wide now. And you're wondering what I have this here for? I'll explain that later. But it's not totally gray because I didn't have all the gray for it. And I'm still waiting for a few little pieces here and there, so it's not too bad. But you know, it looks like it's been around a bit, but it's totally done in gray and black in the front. So I mean, you know, it gets the point across, right? So on the top I figured, well, I got enough room, so this is what I did with the wood one too, but I decided to put it on here, on this plate here, and probably that green plate will become gray by the means of gray match paint, because I don't have any gray plates and I don't feel like spending a lot of money on a gray plate. So that's where that flux capacitor sits right now. Pretty cool, eh? It's kind of boring. I think we need about 1.21 gigawatts, don't we, Doc? Well, if you're wondering how this works, we'll just deconstruct it here now and I'll show you how everything works in here. This is why I said it became a very special flux capacitor, because I wanted to add some electronics into it. And that's what I had done in the wood box. Now that it's all encased in Lego, it looks even more cool. So I don't even want to stop this light because this looks so neat. But anyway, let's just take it apart and I'll show you basically what I have done to make this do this. So as we go into the top, you can see there is another layer here in behind. That's the pull-out one of the actual components. Now we're going to pull this out, but we have to disassemble the front a little bit to do that, because if we don't, it won't come out. That's okay because it keeps it in there nice and tight. So we pull off some side pieces and then the top piece here, just like that. In behind here I had a piece of just plastic, and it came from a pie shell top, so it's not completely flat, but it worked in the old box, and I didn't even have to trim it down really that much, just a little bit on the side just to make it fit in there. So that worked well, so I was able to reuse that from my old project and reuse it. So now we can pull out the center part. Up we go. Okay, the insides of this is special too. I'll get to that in a minute. Let's just turn it sideways so we can see it. Okay, so here is the main wall of the flux capacitor. Okay, now as we turn it sideways, it's only a one stud wide wall, and I use some Technic construction to hold these all in place. However, these clear pieces here, well, Some of you may not like it, but I have it just tacked on with hot glue because I really couldn't come up with a better solution to get these guys put on at any other angle, not even the straight ones. Because the Technic holes, the LEDs are through the Technic holes. And just with its sheer size, I didn't know even how to do it on the angle to mount these clear pieces onto something through the holes. I could have used smaller LEDs maybe with some Technic pins, but I don't know if that would have worked. It possibly could have, but I had the bigger LED, diffused LEDs, and that's really what I wanted. The bottom one here, the very bottom one, I switched it out for ultra bright white, non-diffused one. That works well there on the bottom. Now these two are diffused up here. I switched it out mainly because I didn't have another diffused one, because I broke this one when I was putting it in the back, because I pulled electronics out of the box that I had made previously. So this is controlled by an Arduino, of course, and I have the code somewhere, and I can easily put it in another video for you if anyone is so interested or inclined to build one like this. It's very, very simple code. Now on the back, I've made it with some modifications, kind of sloppy actually, but it was the way I had to get it into this one, see. So there's like 3 runs. There's this one here, this one here, this one here, and this one here. So these are the 3 up here that are the extra ones for when it gets to its state of flux. And the little mini Arduino right up here controlling it. Now I got it powered through the USB cable right now, and this is great for running it at a show or something, because you don't have to worry about your battery draining down. Now I also have the 9-volt battery clip on here, soldered into the board, so that if we're at a venue that has no power available, and that has happened, I definitely want this lit up so you can run it off to 9-volt through the proper voltage in on the Arduino, not the 5-volt, but the voltage in, and that will regulate it to 5 volts, and everything is hunky-dory. Kind of a little bit of a messy wiring going on there, because when I pulled it out of the piece of wood box, it all kind of went to hell and back, but I was able to get it out mostly without breaking anything. There is a little resistor right here, and you should have a resistor basically to limit current in any of these circuits that you put LEDs in off an Arduino. So what I did was I ran it off the ground line. Probably the best place to put it. You only need the one, and it works great. If you run it full out, because it's LEDs, you probably can get away with it. However, just to be on the safe side, you know, it's recommended that you put a little resistor in it. I mean, they're dirt cheap anyway, so, you know, whatever. So yeah, so it looks pretty neat. Basically, there's common to each one of them. All these rows, there's the common ground, which is the black line, which is the resistor is hooked up to, and then it goes back to the ground on the Arduino board. Then each one of these has its own separate channel coming off of it, which makes 3. It goes to a certain pin on the Arduino. Now, there's only 3 outputs on the Arduino controlling all of this. And you're saying, what the hell? But it's the illusion. Because there is 3, you only need 3. And 3 and 3, you could say, oh, but there's 9. Yes, there is 9. As per se, there are 9 outputs. However, there's only ever 3 that we need. There's 9 LEDs, but 3 outputs, because you notice these 2 and this bottom one, if you can stop the video at the exact second or just slow it down, they are on at the same time. Then the next 2 and the middle one and the bottom one and the bottom one, they're all on at the same time. So it's like 3, 3, and 3, 3, 3, and 3. 3, 3, and 3. And it's just the timing to make it go faster and sync up, and then eventually when it gets to the 88 miles per hour or 1.21 gigawatts or whatever you want to call it, it goes into the state of flux, and then these 3 come on as well, and it just resets. And starts over again. And this runs for hours, and it like totally amazes people, especially the kids, to see how that works. I basically built that wall, and the colored bricks that I had in the picture that I had everyone guessing at, they were temporary bricks, because sometimes when I free build, I build with colors to know that, okay, those colors are for something else. And I knew for this build it was for the Technic bricks with the holes in them that the LEDs would fit in, and the LEDs fit in perfect in these Technic pinholes. So I still have 2 red up there. It's going to get by until I get some black, I guess. I can easily replace them ones. So these ones are behind the big wheel hubs in the front, so you don't notice them. The gray one there and the gray one there is not really totally noticeable too bad. So we can get by with those ones. There's only these ones up here with the red on it that are kind of the iffy colors. But we'll get by with that for now. Just leave it as it is. And that's about it. I mean, that's how I did it. This is the wheel hub, like a 2x2 round, with the axle going right through to the back. And it's just with a little bushing on the back holding it in there from coming out. And it comes up here with the 90-degree angle with a pin in it, Technic pin that sticks in the 4, like the cross Technic piece to a round Technic piece, and it goes down to a pin here, and the pin is in there, and the hose is just put on the top like that. So that's all that's done to it to build it. So that's how I came up with the these things here that were actually in real life were spark plug caps that you would put on that would sit on top of the spark plug. That's what they used in the movie one. So I wasn't going out and getting spark plugs caps for that. It just didn't make sense. I wanted to do something Lego-ish with it. So this is what I came up with. And anyway, that's that. So we'll stick this back into its thing. And we made, and I made it so that it actually slides in the hole right down in. So it slides down in and it doesn't move. So it slides in nice up and down. Easily to get it out to fix it, or to get into the next part of it, which is in here. And it might be hard to see because it's like black on black, but this is a funnel which goes straight down here. And that's there as an input, because this is also going to be a GBC module. So the balls will go into that, it'll go down the funnel and come out. And yeah, so it's kind of cool. Kind of serves as 2 purposes. So anyway, that is my flux capacitor. Now, it was kind of tricky to do this front, but eventually I got it all done and it looks like super cool. And now I just have to put route the wire through the backside, and you know, it'll be done, and it won't be any big hassle for that, because I don't want it coming up through the top, because it doesn't really sit right with the car and everything on there. So I think it's time to take off, Marty. We gotta go. We got more work to do. Thanks everybody for watching my flux capacitor video, and don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe down below, and I'll talk to you again in my next video. I think I better put the shield back on, because radiation's not all that good, is it? Yeah, okay. We'll do that now. Ciao.